While movie theaters have been in a weird purgatory over the past 2 years, the MCU has continued to thrive on Disney+. From the sitcom-centric WandaVision or the time-altering Loki, Marvel has continuously brought their A-game when it comes to big-screen thrills on the small screen. Despite this, the series thus far have yet to focus on a new hero, only on the ones we've already had several movies to get to know. However, after 5 different series, the MCU has finally decided to introduce their newest hero, Moon Knight. Moon Knight centers around Stephen Grant, played by Oscar Isaac, who's a down-on-his-luck guy struggling with his personal, romantic, and work life. All of his struggles center around him constantly losing large chunks of time, mainly when he falls asleep. One day, things become even more complicated when he's thrusted into the sight of Ethan Hawke's Arthur Harrow, who's obsessed with obtaining a mysterious golden scarab. Eventually, Stephen learns that the voice in his head is that of dead mercenary Mark Spector, and the two serve as the vessel for an Egyptian god that gives them the power of Moon Knight. From the 2 episodes released thus far, Oscar Isaac is truly the glue that is holding the series together. When actors attempt these multiple personality type roles, it can either come off as incredibly strong or hilariously campy, and thankfully Isaac pulls it off effortlessly. While yes, the fake British accent can be a little distracting, you get used to it relatively quickly. Isaac has a lot of scenes where he's working entirely off of himself, and he truly makes Mark and Steven their own unique characters. Ethan Hawke also shines here, while his motivations remain a little foggy at this point, and a part of me worries about him becoming a big CGI threat in the last episode. The more David Koresh-esque villain really works for this story. I also appreciate the series so far has a much more mature tone compared to the other Marvel series. There's of course going to be jokes and quips, but for the most part these first 2 episodes have been much more focused on Stephen's struggle and the mystery of the scarab. While I was hoping the series would have been more in line with the newly added Netflix series, I still appreciate some of the show's more brutal elements, even if much of the violence is implied. While Moon Knight is off to a really promising start, I still worry about the show overall, as it still has some of the MCU's familiar trappings just in these first 2 episodes. Thus far, while the pacing is good, both episodes are structured virtually the same, and hopefully the rest of the episodes try to mix things up a little bit. Another element that has me worried is the CGI. If you've kept an eye on Twitter, you know that there's a particularly rough-looking car chase in the first episode that might turn some people away. Finally, being a Marvel show, even if I enjoy the following episodes, I still have this sense of fear that the finale will ultimately let me down, as shows like Hawkeye and What If have before them. Even so, I feel a bit more hope for Moon Knight, and perhaps that's due to it feeling much less involved in the larger scale of the MCU, and feeling much more like a limited series event. The action, while definitely fake looking at times, is still pretty solid. The comedy and writing is quite engaging, and Isaac really does deliver a fantastic performance, and I'm glad he's able to redeem himself from the last time he and Marvel worked together.
Apocalypse, that was excruciating.
For SUTV Entertainment, I'm Adam Beam.